much for making time for me. I know you are a mom and you're at home. You're
so busy right now.
homeschooling.
I'm so busy. I have to
You know,
my schedule.
well, everybody, just so you know, that you would think during the quarantine, a lot of people have a lot of free time for moms and for parents who actually have kids at home. I find that it's very difficult to schedule their time to go on IG Live. So I have the luxury this week that my godson's with his mom, but last week he was with me, and I think next week he'll be with me again. And I get to experience how difficult it is to actually take care of a child who's 5, 6, 7 years old, and you're responsible for teaching. So you're at home, you're teaching, you're being a mom.
Yeah, don't be surprised if he like comes barging in here and ruins.
Well, I sure hope so. We love spontaneity. We love it. So everyone, this is Yu Tsai. For those that just joined us, we are here on Let's Talk series, and our special guest star today is makeup artist none other than Jenn Streicher. Hi, Jenn. How are you?
Good. How are you?
So tell everybody where you're at right now.
I'm home at my little vanity that I sometimes do my makeup at.
And your home is Los Angeles, right?
I live in Laurel Canyon in Los Angeles. Yep. Very happy to be here, especially during this time. It's very beautiful, and I feel like I'm a little bit away from the city, but not too far.
Well, we're lucky that California weather has not been so gloomy, so that for those are in quarantine, please remember once in a while, go step by the window and get some sun, stay healthy, and that's all we hope for. Meanwhile, while we're here, we are just want to have some discussions to inspire the creative community to continue to talk about what they do. And because when this is over, we'll be requested again, I'm sure of. And I know I'm going to need a haircut.
I cut my own bangs. If you can, I'm sure you can tell because they're pretty.
Absolutely.
They're pretty crazy.
I love your backdrop. I love the mirror behind you. I love all those lipsticks behind you. This is the beautiful vanity. And my backdrop here, guys, is actually a photo shoot that Jenn and I worked on together. I don't remember which year. I have to call you somewhere. I can pull it up, put it on the YouTube.
Really?
The script on the bottom. Yeah, but I don't remember when we did this, but it wasn't that long ago. So
it was in New York. I remember.
It was in New York. Well, before we dive into this work, I first want the audience to know that why did you choose makeup as your career?
I didn't intentionally choose makeup as my career, and I know that sounds terrible. It just kind of happened that way. And it wasn't until I moved to New York City that I really realized, like, oh, I right when I graduated from high school, I started working at a makeup counter all through college. I never graduated from college, but I went for a while. And luck would have it that I ended up moving to New York City on a whim. I had never even visited there. I grew up in a very, very small town in Northern California. I was very naive. And I moved to New York on a whim, and I started working at Warren Jacome Salon, which was really big back in the day. And I had been doing makeup that whole time, but it wasn't until I moved to New York City that I realized that I could do it in this capacity.
Mm. But who inspired you to? What was that first moment? Because a lot of people go, funny enough, Jenn, that when I interviewed so many makeup artists and hairstylists, a lot of them said, oh, well, when I was 6 years old, I just knew I want to do this, right? And then there are ones I just fell into it. Which category are you?
I fell into it. I honestly, where I grew up, I didn't even know what fashion magazines were. I really had no concept of like the fashion world. We were outside a lot. And it was we were kind of tucked away in nature, and it really wasn't even on my radar at all.
Then, so if you fell right into it, you work at a makeup counter, when did technique started to kick in? When did it become something that it's artistry for you?
Well, you know, when you work, most of you probably don't know, but when you work at a makeup counter, they do send you to trainings. And I went to a lot of those. I've worked at like every single makeup counter imaginable, and I really actually enjoyed it. And then when I moved to New York and started working at Warren Jacome, there was a makeup artist there. Oh, I'm not going to remember his name right now off the top of my head. Anyways, he did makeup. He did some makeup at the salon, but then he was also going out on shoots to do makeup. And when I saw and heard that, I was like, oh, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do.
Well, that's interesting you said that. So when you decided that's what I want to do, I think our audience want to know, what did you do to get to do what you want to do?
You know, and people ask me this all the time, and it was just much different back then. But Edward Shikomi, one of the owners of Warren Shikomi, we just hit it off and we really liked each other. And they had a partnership with Next Agency, which was a big agency in New York back in the day, and a modeling agency. Right. And so they were getting some overflow from that company. And they just happened to get, you know, some bookings. And I told them, I said, I really want to do this. He was kind of he and han. And I said, how about if I bring some models in and I'll show you how I can do makeup?
Wow.
Yeah. So
so guys, this is before YouTube. This is before that you can get online and learn how to do makeup. This is practicality. This is when you have to do it physically, you have to practice, and you have to do it on actual, a lot of time you're practicing on clients, right?
Yeah, well, you know, I think that's what the makeup counter was really good for, because you get so many different faces, so many different ages. Like, you're really working with like a large group of people. You're not just working with beautiful people, which happens a lot when you do celebrity and fashion makeup. You really are working with the best of the best. So it did give me some training in like how to do every face and how to feel comfortable, and you know what looks good on certain faces and what doesn't. So yeah.
I remember when I first discovered your work, it was when I looked through your book. You were very heavy in men's grooming in the very beginning.
Yes.
You did a lot of men's grooming. So so guys, so just so you know, male actors and talents out there, before they hit the red carpet, they still have magic wand from Jenn Jenn Streicher here, that make sure that she gives a little brush and a tug. And their responsibility is not just, my light went down a little bit there, sorry about that. Their responsibility is not just to do makeup. Grooming is everything from top to bottom. And will you give a little bit of definition of what men's grooming is like in our industry?
Yeah, I mean, I started doing men's grooming in a lot of it. And I also was because I was at Warren Shikomi, I dabbled in hair as well. And Edward Shikomi really wanted me to do hair. And I really had to fight him and be like, no, I really want to do makeup. So I think that was kind of an in-between. And you know, there's still a few men that I work with that I truly love, that I've been working with for a very long time. Men are very loyal, and you know, they're sometimes a little bit, because you don't, every man on the red carpet wears makeup, but you obviously don't want them to look like they're wearing makeup. So that really is the biggest challenge with men, is to make them look good, but not any signs of the makeup.
Well, not to actually mention any of the names of our clients, don't I find that when I have a male celebrity or talent in front of me, they're more self-insecure than women who models are in front of me that is completely dolled up, because they truly are representing pretty nakedness, right, of who they are.
Yes. And I think that's a big difference between men and women in general as well. I do think women are a little bit more
confident.
I guess it just depends, but men.
But don't you feel like there's a transformation? Don't you feel like it's because women get to go through a transformation? They get to go through that process of looking, hair, makeup, all of it, and that 2 hours or hour and a half. And guys, it's true. It does sometimes takes 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours. That process almost is a process building confidence. Don't you feel that way? I feel like a hair, makeup, glam room really is like a room for a psychiatrist and psychologist, that they're there to really build up, amp up the energy and the beauty from the person you're working with. And I think when you do men's grooming, perhaps because time is not 3 hours, usually it's pretty damn quick, that you didn't spend enough time building the confidence and the talent before they stepped out.
But I do think men walk in with the confidence, usually, mostly, not all the time, but I do find that men, because they don't wear makeup every day, it's just something they do either for photo shoots or for red carpet. So they don't feel naked when they walk in, right? Where like a woman does. A woman does wear makeup every day. And so when she walks in with nothing on, it's like you said, the 2 hours is like building what they want to see and what they want to put out.
Absolutely. And I see that in your work, because you work with a array of artists. I remember you work with, I think McConaughey, was that somebody you work with a lot? I don't remember which male celebrity that. No, who was your grooming?
I remember I worked with Paul. This was when I was living in New York years ago, but you know, Paul Rudd, Chris Evans. I still work with Chris.
Oh, we actually have a cover together with Chris Evans.
Oh, we do?
Yes, I'll flash that up next time on the YouTube when we post this. So yeah, that was actually, I think, virtually our first time working together, that you got him ready for a film festival. I was there photographing him, and I remember that picture later, that was your work. So we didn't get to physically work together in the same room until much, much later. So you were introduced to me by my great friend, and your great friend, I hope, Fiona Style.
Fiona, yes, of course.
So, guys, when I first started in California, and when I moved back from New York as well, that not a lot of makeup artists was working with me because they deemed me as a LA photographer, and I wanted to work with the best of best from New York. And LA did have a particular style of makeup artists. As good as they are, they were not aligned with my personal taste, good or bad. It was just something I wanted to be more European. I wanted to be New York, and I found Fiona. And there's a video that we had an interview together. You're welcome to go on YouTube to check it out. And Fiona actually introduced me to you because she couldn't be available to me all the time. And I would get so mad at her. I was like, I finally found you. You can't work with other people. Just work with me. She goes, you need to work with Jenn. She's amazing. And I remember saying this to her. I said, you know, her book was very men heavy. It was grooming heavy. And I'm going to trust you. She goes, trust me. You will fall in love with her. You will love her work. She has the work ethic of a professional. Don't look at her book. Look at her work with you. And
I'll always be Fiona's. I'm so happy to be Fiona's backup anytime. So she is an amazing artist.
And you're not a backup. You're not a backup. It was the pure introduction of friendship. And in this industry, that's quite rare, you guys. I'm going to be really honest. This industry is super, super competitive. A makeup artist, from one makeup artist recommending another makeup artist is not very often to hear. And I'm happy and proud to say the group of hair makeup team that I work with has been referral from one to the other, and it builds a great community. It really does help to keep everybody energized in our business, you know? It's support. We need all the support we can get. So let's dive into your first job, your very first job that you remember.
Yu Tsai, I don't know. It was so long ago.
The reason I asked that because I want to reflect that feeling from the first day you got to do what you felt like you were now a makeup artist to today.
You know, it's kind of like my move to New York. I think ignorance is bliss, and I think about it a lot because I think about it now that my grown self would never do what my younger self did. But like, thank God my younger self did that, because it got me to where I am today. But I think about that and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Even moving to New York I had never even visited New York. I remember getting on the plane and being like, I'm moving to New York, and like landed in New York. And it kind of was the same thing with makeup and going to these photo shoots. I of course assisted a lot. That's how I met Fiona, and learned from that. And then also it was great doing men's grooming. It wasn't such a high stakes. It was pretty natural and guys seemed to be more communicative. It was just like an easier fit. And that kind of got me ready and taught me, you know, all the things about doing a photo shoot, which, you know, is like a bunch of cooks in the kitchen and everybody's kind of collaborating, and it is always different every single time. And, you know, it really got my feet wet for what was to come.
Wow, what was to come? How did you go from makeup counter, you work with everyday people, they're beautiful as well, and receiving your first celebrity client?
I don't know. I don't know how it happened. It just, you gradually, I remember doing a lot of photo shoots, traveling a lot when I lived in New York, doing a lot of real people stories. You know, where Cosmo and all those magazines used to do more, like every once in a while they do a real person story about, I don't know, who knows what, but I would travel with the photographer and do everybody that was going to be on camera. And I mean, that was great experience as well. Traveling, which I do a lot, it got my feet wet for that. How to kind of, you know, you have to get along with people, and everybody usually has their, you know, their vision. Everybody
The vision
has
and
a
the team, yes.
When they come to a photo shoot, right? Like, of course you do. And when I come, I've been probably thinking about, oh, we're going to do this, and maybe I'm going to do this. And, you know, everybody's coming together. So it is like a real collaborative process every time. But of course, you're the boss.
I like to think I'm the boss, but that's not always true. There's always a creative director on set. There's always a fashion editor on set. And we talk a lot about this on this series, that how important collaboration really is in our business, and how important each of the department do need to find a balance with each other. And that's what happens when you form a team. And often you will see photographers work with the same makeup artist over and over and over, and hair and whatnot, because there is a synergy that they create. I like to mix my team up, as you know. Sometimes I like to pair a certain makeup artist with a certain hairstylist because they push each other a little bit, or other times that you just want them to completely harmonize and work together as a team with effortless and an easy day. So it all depends. But one thing, guys, that you need to know, when you begin to work with celebrities, you're a photographer or any kind of client, any parts of the creative industry, when you have celebrity involved, it comes another layer called publicists. And a publicists are the people who actually really shape and form how they want their client to look and feel. Lots of discussions has happened already behind the scenes. So before the celebrity even come on set, we already have a notion what's due and not. And some of us are bad. They'll push the boundary and get yelled at by publicists.
Yes.
I'm one of those. I'll push that boundary.
But you do it in a good way. You always do it in a very fun way.
But please, can we try just one eye if it works, and then we can do the other? You know, there's always a way to lead into it. But publicists plays a huge part. And guys, I will ask the publicist to join me on one of these discussions, so you guys can learn a little bit about behind the scene what a publicist does and the power they have behind the system for many of us. And because of publicists, that their relationship, they protect the artist, like Jenn, the makeup artist, to the talent she work with, like Emily. If they're a pair, they're strong together, you will see their name often. And reason for that is because as a photographer, if I want to work with Emily, I will accept the package. And that should always be the way. Nothing worse when you want to work with a talent who has an amazing team, and a photographer or a creative director, whoever else, try to break up that team and try to recreate and rebrand. Everybody thinks they can recreate and rebrand somebody else. And I always find that very frustrating for me, because I love to take a brand and explode it up. I love creating brands, of course, with the advertising background I have. But when it comes to Emily, for example, she is already a brand. She comes with the look and the feel, the styling, the elegance, the energy that she brings. It is my job as a photographer to take that little tiny moment and blow it to a gigantic energy. And to do that, I need a makeup artist, I need a hairstylist, and I need a glam team. So let's talk about how we created this explosion in New York.
Okay.
So
do you remember?
I do remember, actually.
You do? Okay.
So I'll be really candid about this, is that I couldn't get to Emily on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I remember wanting to work with her after Devil Wears product. I shot Anne Hathaway, and I said, oh my God, I have to shoot Emily. And because she lived in London and she wasn't in LA very often, so it was quite difficult. So I reached out to the publicist, and it was a waiting list of everybody who wanted to shoot her. And then I dialed you. And I said, listen, I understand her schedule is very busy. You guys have a lot of stuff you're working on. At any time, if there's something appropriate, please put my name forward. And guys, I just want you to know this. For a makeup artist to put another photographer name forward on at a shoot or red carpet or doing makeup with them, it's a huge, huge thing, because you don't know another photographer could be on set. That's the team that they work with forever. So I wasn't like, it's going to happen, but I was definitely hoping it would. And thank God it did.
Well, I think you are giving me a little too much credit. I think they wanted you, right? And I think somebody just came to me and said, like, oh, have you worked with him? Do you know him? And I was like, oh my God, yeah, he's amazing. You should definitely.
Well, that's because I told that person, which is the magazine editor, you want to get Emily, I can't get it for you, but you need to call Jenn. So you got to know the right dial. You got to know the right number to dial.
Yeah.
So this shoot was done in New York, and our stylist was actually Jessica Pastor, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, with Jessica Pastor. And Italo was our makeup art, hairstylist, right? Was Italo, from what I can remember?
Yes, it wasn't Emily's normal one, which is Lainey, who.
Yes, but I love Italo's work. We've done so many beautiful work together, so I do love his work, and I'm so glad he was there that day. So I'm going to just take a moment to hold this up. This actually was that cover that we shot.
Really?
It was the cover. They were multi-cover, but this was the main cover. Will you walk us through how this makeup came about?
Wow. I don't know. You probably told me to do it.
Well, okay, let me set up the scenario here. So when we got a call to shoot Emily, then as a team, what we usually get is location. What's the location going to look like? So we look at the location, and with this.
We were at the Plaza Hotel. Do you remember?
We were at the rich Plaza Hotel. We were like glammed up the whole entire floor. It was amazing. Yeah. It was so beautiful. So I really want to create this rich bitch idea. I want her to be rich and diva, because I wanted her to be to really own that space. And at that time, Emily was known for being so elegant, right? Everything she does comes with poise and elegant. So of course I'm pushing, right? I'm pushing a publicist. Let's try this outfit on. Can we try this outfit on? And how do we make her rich, but still hold on to the essence of Emily? And how does that happen? Well, the fashion was super rich. The environment was super rich. So the balance is makeup. So I wanted to make sure she felt glamorous. And I wanted something incredibly versatile that you can change throughout the entire shoot. So on this one, it was a beautiful bronzy smoke eye with a nice liner that just shapes the top of the eye. Walk us through how to do this. Just simple.
Are you asking me how to do it?
Yeah. How did you, when you see her, how do you decide, like, this is the color I'm going to use on her? How do you decide this is the shaping I'm doing today?
God, I think it's just, we probably, knowing you, there was probably some inspiration pictures there. I think we probably all had like a talk about it before Emily even walked in the room. And we all kind of, I love it when you create a story or you actually create a character.
A narrative.
For the person that we're shooting. So with actresses, it works very well for them because they're actresses. So you kind of give a narrative of like the rich bitch. I remember now that was the story. And like, that was what I thought a rich bitch looked like, apparently. It's funny when I look at those pictures of Emily because how much she's changed and how much I've changed and how much everything has changed. It's crazy. I love that picture. So you're rich bitch.
And I remember we started out working on this this project, and I remember the creative director was a little afraid of having a really dark red lip because red lip oftentimes ages people, and you already had this huge smoky eye to begin with, and we had a whole discussion about the red lip, and of course I came to a school of thought people goes, oh, dark eyes, no dark lip, right? So we had this whole back and forth. So I'm wrong, and you proved me wrong by able to do such a strong eye with strong lips.
I mean, that looks beautiful. And, you know, I think it's, Emily doesn't necessarily like a red lip either. We probably had,
and that was the fight.
We had to fight like 10 people to get that red lip on, by
that
the way.
was the I was trying to hold that back. So the discussion was not between you and me. It was between layers and layers of people. And I hope she loves this picture because I absolutely think she looks stunning here. And this is one of those moments that I push the boundary and try to do something different. And I think it's pretty successful because it didn't take her out of her character that much. And then at the same time, what I love, what you mentioned earlier, what I love, what you said is that when we come on set, it's nice when there's a narrative, there's a story, and we're there to complete the fantasy. So guys, as a photographer, it's very different for shooting editorial and advertising. For editorials, we call them editorial because editorial is supposed to have a point of view of some kind of discussion, whether it's the season's it looks or whether it's just grunge look. We need a starting point. We don't ever just show up and shoot. So for the Rich Bitch Day, I wanted to make sure she embodied that character after hair and makeup. And this image I love because it's so ever quiet. And it was a real moment that she was fixing her shoe. And just her posture, the way she was breathing, the elegance of the toes pointing. And that to me is we've done the job successfully. Everything we have done up to that point, we're done right. So we just need to make sure the film's in focus. And that's my responsibility to do that. So you work with so many celebrities now, and including Emily. Do you get nervous still when you show up on set? Somebody's asking that?
Not with Emily. I think no. I mean, if it's a new person, there's always like a little bit of a nervousness, of course. And I think that's what's so great about working with a team, because I feel like I can do my best work when I'm comfortable as well as the other person's comfortable. So the relationship between us is really trusting. And
you guys are like sisters when I see you guys together. And you guys are a definite team that nobody can come in between. But what's interesting is that we have a lot of relationship in our business where hairstylists or makeup artists are really close to the celebrity, and they're constantly on Instagram posting their pictures together, the work that's done together. Emily does not have an Instagram.
She does not.
And do you find that frustrating? She's not sharing your work?
No. She is, I get why she doesn't do it. They're very private, as you know, and she's like a real actress. She doesn't want the public, it makes sense to me why she doesn't want to do it. And it doesn't frustrate me. I mean, I work with Mandy Moore a lot, and she's on Instagram all the time. And I just think it's different people.
Tell her I said hi next time you work with her. I don't know if she'll remember me, but my very first Vogue was actually Vogue Japan, and Mandy Moore was my subject.
Really? When?
Oh my gosh. And I didn't say much to her because I was such a star. I was so starstruck.
Really?
It was, and then of course I was doing some weird concept with Japanese Vogue. She was like yarning. She was like making stuff with yarns. It was really bizarre story. Like with a handbag, and I don't know. Sometimes you go back and look at that and go, well, I don't know what I had that morning, but let's not have it again because it gave me some weird idea.
That's so funny.
But she is absolutely lovely. She's absolutely lovely. I have to find that. You know what? I'll find that picture and put it up on the split screen so you guys can see this. Wow. Yeah, that's funny. So with where we are now, that you're not taking your brushes and touching people's faces, and you're not 1 foot away from their face, and how do you still get inspired every single day about makeup?
I find my inspiration from a lot of places, and I'm a huge fan of period piece movies, which I love to watch. Traveling is always inspirational to me. I also love hearing what other people I do love the collaboration process. I really do. I think, especially if you're in a group of people that you know and you trust, and everybody kind of has their points of view and they kind of push you in a direction. Maybe you're not always comfortable with it, but you know, you get there and it can bring magic to whatever you're doing. I don't know. I'm not one of those artists like that's when I start a face that I know exactly what I'm doing.
Wow.
Like I don't lay all my things out and I'm like, this is what I'm doing today. It is really more of like, as I go.
Spontaneous.
Yeah.
And based on the mood of the day.
Yeah. And, you know, obviously I'll have a conversation with who I'm doing and they are telling you kind of what they want and you're using that interpretation and doing that. But I've never been one of those people that like has it all here. And I'm like, this is what I'm going to do. Here I go. These are the products I'm going to use. And this is how I'm going to do it.
Well, that's very interesting because there are different type of makeup artists.
Yeah.
They are paint by number, right?
People.
We know they're paint by numbers. This is going to be a certain color. This is going to be a certain color. And they just paint it right in. And there are ones who are so spontaneous and outrageous that you don't know what you're going to get. But at the very end of the day, I love both kind of artists. But what I love is to make sure that they technically, they're still giving me beautiful skin, right? Beautiful skin. And at the end of the day, it's all about beautiful skin. So what do you tell your clients to maintain a beautiful skin canvas before they come on set with you?
I mean, most of the clients that I work with now, I don't have to say, I mean, I think people are really into taking care of their skin for sure. Like everybody gets facials. I think everybody's very aware, especially now that celebrities get photographed so much everywhere. So like, it's not just when they're going to a photo shoot, like they are feeling the pressure of having to look a certain way all the time. So I think, I don't think I've had to like be like, well, you know what, you should probably do this. I think everybody's really smart and they all have, of course we share tips and everybody has like their own little things and
well, give us some tips. Give us some tips of good products to keep our daily life beautiful.
I mean, one tool that I really love is the Ziip, which is like that nanocurrent. It's a handheld nanocurrent. It's not something that I do every day, but it is definitely something that I do if I know I'm going to be on camera. Or I definitely do it if I feel like I'm getting a blemish, because it really does kill the bacteria underneath the skin. And it kind of just plumps you up a little bit.
Is this the infrared light thing? This is the infrared?
No, it's called Ziip. It's by Melanie Simon. She's an amazing esthetician. It's this handheld device that is hooked up to your phone. So you choose the program on your phone. It's amazing.
We need to do a demo on this. Does it zap you? Does it like
no, it like, you know, it exercises your muscles. So it does kind of feel weird sometimes. But it's a really amazing app. It's great to have tools at home.
I love that. That's a great one.
Especially now when you can't leave your home.
But you know what? People forget that you still want to drink lots of water when you're in quarantine. You still want to flush out the toxin in your body, and water. Well, you do. Number one thing people ask me like how to maintain good skincare, whatnot. I always say, well, drink lots of water. Number one, right? The number one is drinking lots of water. But any other product that you love that you can't live without for beautiful skin?
I'm like a true Gemini. I use products all the time and I'm always changing, and I'm always like, what my favorite products are today is going to be completely different by tomorrow. But you know, I always love an oil cleanser. I'm a big fan of an oil cleanser. I think that helps to remove all the makeup, and I'll try them all. Water is a good one. Everybody should drink water. We know that. I do love like a nice exfoliator. I just tried that Goop one, which is really good. Dr. Lancer makes one that's really good.
So keeping your face clean, number one.
And like
keeping your face
removing,
clean.
yeah. Sure.
Those are good. Those are great tips for people to have, because I think it's, you know, we talk about the celebrity who shows up and the models who shows up in front of your mirror, in your chair. It is their responsibility to come with a canvas, right? It is. I think it's more now so than ever that people do self-care, and they do treat it as the part of their job. They show up, and this is what they.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Don't you think they feel that way?
Oh, I think more now than ever. When I first started, not so much.
Really?
You know, when I first started, I felt like makeup, hair, everybody does everything to cover up blemishes or do whatever. But now maybe because it's a social media that they're all taking selfies at times, and they want to be camera ready, or whoever they, meaning people in front of camera. It doesn't have to be just celebrities. People take more care of how visually they look for the presentation they want to give to people, right?
Sure,
so
that totally makes sense, actually.
Yeah,
to me. Sure.
So I'm going to just give a little wrap up on this photo shoot really quickly, just so that everybody knows how this photo shoot comes and goes. When this concept came to me from the magazine editor, and we then always discuss what kind of location or what kind of story we want to tell. And within that premise, we decided the team that we think would best fit. With Emily, of course, it came with her own team that she worked with on makeup, and her stylist. She has worked with a lot as well. And then the hairstylist that she usually worked with was not available. So it was then with Italo, who's brilliant at what he does as well. So we love him. We work with him a lot. So the team then gets formed. Then we show up on location. We usually show up about 2 hours before the talent. We have our discussions. We look at the rack. I remember walking through the rack with you and with Jessica, just going, which outfit speaks the right language for this story that we have today? You know, so we begin to build that narrative. It's almost like every time we show up for a photo shoot, we're writing a children's book. We really are.
Yeah.
And many times we have to dumb ourselves down in many ways to be able to have the language that can translate. Because when it gets too ethereal and it goes a little too high up here, nobody understands. We can't do anything. So we kind of come down to the basics, and that's when I'm like, she needs to be rich and she needs to be a bitch. So that's not basic enough. I don't know how far
that's hilarious.
Go. So this is how we process and how the team collaborative together. With Emily that day, we had about 5 hours, guys. So we don't get to show up with.
That's not very long.
It wasn't very long. It was a fast shoot. Remember? Oh yes. I remember how I got the job. You actually told her I was a very fast shooter. I don't, because she actually doesn't love being photographed as much as some of the celebrities. It's part of her job. She'll do it, but it's not something to just do for no reason. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And
she's
it's
very
a craft.
particular about the product, about the shoots that she does.
Yes.
And I mean, who really does love a photographer that takes forever?
Does
anybody?
I think some of them get away with it. That's why they can do it. Well, for me, my personality tells you that I get bored really quickly. If I don't get the concept I want in front, and you've been on set with me so many times, you know, within first 10 frames, if I don't capture what I want to capture, then something's not working, whether it's my lights, whether it's styling, whether it's hair, whether it's makeup. I stop and go, let's figure this out. You'll never catch me as a photographer. Keep on clicking for 300 frames and keep going, I'll find it. You won't find it, guys. You don't find it in the first 10 frames. You won't find it.
Yeah, and that really says a lot, because my biggest frustration, and probably everybody on set, is feeling like, because the photographer is leading the way, and the feeling that the photographer isn't confident. So then you kind of lose steam when you have a confident photographer, and I think that's like says a lot about you, Yu Tsai, and you just said it. You know what you're getting, and if you don't have it in the first 10 shots, then you're moving on. So that really gives the confidence to everybody that you know what you're doing and we're moving along.
And it goes a long way. It really, really
does. It
and,
really does.
And just between you and I, even if I didn't get the first 10 frames, I'll say I did so I can build a confidence on the set.
Well, there you go. Fake it till you make it. It's
Fake it till you make it. Well, that is true. I want to jump into your sister. I want to talk about your sisterhood.
Oh, yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I want to let you do it. Tell me about your sisters.
Okay. So I have two sisters. One of them is a hairstylist and the other one is a brow artist. And about 5 years ago, we were finally all living in the same city of Los Angeles, and we opened a beauty space called Strike.
In Beverly Hills. And that's Ashley and Christy, right? Ashley
does hair, Christy does eyebrows, and we collaborated on this one beauty space, and it's been awesome. It's been a challenge, and it's been awesome. And
I was at the opening. It was so beautiful.
You were there, weren't you?
Yes, of course I was there.
That was a long time ago.
Yes, and it's doing well. It's you all. I have lots of friends when they saw the posting that I'm gonna post this. They're like, "Oh, I always want to go there. Maybe now I can get an appointment. Can you talk to her?" I go, "When the store opens up, I'm sure it'll be flooded with clients. We'll get you on the list right away."
Yeah. Well, Chris, the brow team is very big there. That's really like their main home, and I think she has like 5 artists working with her now. So. They see like a lot of Los Angeles.
And are you there? So how does it work? Are you there at the studio with them on a daily basis? How does the operation work?
I'm there the least amount. Christy and her team are there every day except for Sunday, and Ashley's there, probably spends maybe half of her time there. I mean, I do always stop in. I have all my packages delivered there, and I feel like my office is there, and I like to check in. And I have somebody else that works with me that does makeup and lashes as well. So even though I do spend time there, it's not always necessarily doing services, but I do end up spending a lot of time there. And then we have like a Now You Know class series. I don't know if you know about that, but like every 6 weeks, except for now, we do this wine class with Helen's
wow, that's so cool.
And talk about wine and beauty.
I don't think I was invited.
Oh, actually, it's for women only.
Oh, well, there you go. And by the way, it doesn't help because I don't drink wine, so I'll just sit there and watch you guys drink.
Yeah, it's definitely more fun if you're drinking. I definitely sound better when you're drinking.
Yeah. Okay. So now that the business it's going and you guys have your team established, do you work together on set ever?
No.
Wow, how is that?
Ashley and I sometimes do, because Ashley works with Mandy and I work with Mandy. So we work with Mandy a lot. I don't know. Well, brow artists don't really go to set.
But the work of her work is there with the talent that you're working on.
For sure. We all share a lot of clients, but we're not usually all together at the same place. We do a lot of projects together. We do a lot of like photo shoots together, but we don't necessarily like do our craft together. All
right. So now we come to a segment that we call upside down.
Oh no.
Let's talk Q&A. So we have some questions that people have been asking online and DM. So I'm going to read some off to you.
Okay.
Here we go.
Hopefully I can answer them.
And a lot of it about makeup. What is your favorite brand of makeup and why? That was a tricky question. Oh, it's a tricky question.
I know, it's funny, I get that a lot.
Of course.
There's not one, and I'm sure you know the answer. There is not one particular brand that I work with. I work with lots and lots of brands. I always love trying new stuff. I just would never be able to say, oh, this brand I work with the most and I really love. There's so many great brands, so many, and each one has their, different things that I like. And
you're such a politician right now.
I'm not though, but I'm serious. And honestly, it's so funny, especially when you do tutorials or if somebody asks you a question about hey, does this and this go together? I'm always very self-conscious because what I think goes together could totally not make sense to you. So it really is just my opinion, and what my opinion is where I don't know. You can take it or leave it. I don't like to be like, these are the rules and this is what you need to do, because there's just no rules.
Well, there's a great question that somebody asked. People with really sensitive skin, do you recommend something like Bare Minerals makeup?
I've used Bare Minerals makeup and I really like it. Again, that's a tricky question. You're sensitive to what? Do you know what you're sensitive to? Is it an actual ingredient that doesn't do well with your skin? Like there's so many questions that you have to ask to get past that question. I always say, and people ask like, what red lipstick should I use? Like, try everything until you find something that you like and looks good on you. And that's what I would say about the sensitive stuff. Like, you just are going to have to kind of keep trying until you find something that works for you.
But I know I can ask you this because you're a girl with red lipstick. I see you with lipstick all the time. So you got to have a favorite red lipstick. Come on.
I love an orangey red. And there are like a few that I love. Like Laura Mercier makes one called Fire that I love. Right now I'm wearing a Nars. What is this? Red Square. But I also love, Nars makes a lot of great red oranges. Beauty Counter makes a really beautiful one. I mean, there's lots of people that make great red lipsticks.
Okay. Do you apply makeup to a oh, this is a great one, actually.
Oh.
I have experiences with some artists. How do you apply makeup to people have fuzzy face? I guess women with a little bit of hair on their face. How do you get it not so cakey and it still feels very natural? Great question, you guys. Great question.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the Beauty Blender, and I think it really helps to blend and move makeup on the skin. So I would recommend probably not applying it with the Beauty Blender, either using a brush or your fingers. You probably want to go in the direction of which way your hair grows, which is probably down. And then take that Beauty Blender that's been wet, you know, a little bit moist, I hate that word, and you'll really be able to blend it through.
And this is the same for men. I mean, obviously, I'm a person
sure,
with
like what do
fuzzy
you do?
face, you know?
What
right?
do you do?
I don't put makeup on this side of my face.
Oh.
If I shave completely clean, I look like an egg. I'm just like a round egg, so I need a little bit of 5 o'clock shadow.
Sure,
and when it's starting to grow in and it doesn't fill in, I do have my Smashbox foundation palette where I use the dark from the edges around my face.
Like contour situation.
I do that, but I actually don't wear makeup when I'm on set. I hope my natural skin, the dewiness, lotions and whatnot can come through. Especially a lot of shows I film are in Asia. When you have too much skin, too much makeup, it starts running, right? Oh. I sweat like crazy. So I know that I'd rather just be natural. A little bit of concealer underneath is helpful once in a while when you wake up with jet lag. Thank you so much, those jet lags. But yeah, so with this area, I would just never even apply makeup on it. That's me. Okay, so another question. Oh, so most of the people who watches and wants to learn about makeup, they are not going to Barney's, New York. Well, I think nobody's going.
Nobody's going to Barney's.
No.
Nobody's going anywhere.
By the way, guys, this is my public service announcement complaint that when Barney closed, I had over 7 gift cards, and they just said, sorry. I think that's not cool. Yeah, they're like, you have to do a class action lawsuit to get money from us. I was not happy about that. But anyways, that's another story.
Okay.
Anyways, so most of the counter they go to, it's at CVS and Rite Aid. Can you put together a nice, great kit just from the drugstore as a makeup artist? That's a great question, you guys. These are great questions.
I know. And this is going to sound really shitty, but I don't use a lot of drugstore makeup. And only because I don't get sent it, and it's not something that I experiment
Okay,
with.
so let's explain this to our viewers. So makeup artists, you guys are the most luckiest people. It's Christmas every single day. Every makeup brand will send you guys makeup.
I use this on my own self, and I love it. It's probably the only drugstore thing I use. It's called Voluminous.
I have the same one for my lashes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it on right now.
You do?
If I don't put a little bit of dark on my eyes, it washes me out.
Sure.
So I don't say I do makeup. I do a little bit of grooming. So,
there you go.
So, but I do think that if you want to practice makeup, you want to learn how to do makeup on celebrities, and the tip, I'm sure that you agree, is that the drugstore brand, fine. Practice on yourself, practice on your friends, and right now, practice whoever is in quarantine with you. Sure. So I think, you know, and that's what you have to do, because a lot of questions here are asking, how do I go about breaking into the industry? And it's just, you know, so I think it is experience. Keep learning from. Right now, you're lucky. You get YouTube, and you get this IG live talk.
There's so many tools these days.
So what time is almost up. So what I want to do is make sure everybody, you guys, follow her on her Instagram and bombard her with DMs, because any beauty questions directly to her, I will probably not be able to give you the best answer with photography questions or anything else. I will do my very best to answer you. And thank you so much for being with me today. And I hope you come back.
Really fast.
It does go by fast. And we have, I've told the audience on the top of the show, is the reason I created this series is so that our community can continue talking and sharing what we do. You talk about what you love, you get to do what you love. And when you get to do what you love every day, you're not working. You are enjoying you're enjoying the process of creativity. And I'm hoping that this series will continue to do that for the artists that I've worked with and the artists I admire. So we have a whole list of guests lined up for next week already. I can't wait for you guys to know who they are. But Jen, I hope you come back. I have a few.
You're gonna tell me.
I'm gonna. We have a few. We have it lined up for next 3 weeks. Actually, I'm very fortunate.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
So supportive.
So cool.
I would love for you to come back, as we've done so many other shoots together.
To do that.
And next time, maybe we'll give a little detailed tutorial on how to do something. People keep asking, why isn't it a tutorial show? Well, it's because this is Let's Talk. It's not Let's Do Makeup. And so thank you guys very much again for joining me. And in the meantime, while you stay out there, stay strong and stay healthy. And us from the creative team here, we love you guys for tuning in. And I love you, Jen. And I'll see you again soon.
Thank you, Yu Tsai. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.